Hey everybody, thanks for checking me out. This time we've got Bishoujo Psylocke, and I've waited a while for this one. This is, I haven't even opened it yet, but she is one of my favorites they've made to date. They made Psylocke before, if you didn't know. This is the second Psylocke Kotobukiya has made, the second Bishoujo Psylocke. And the first one I was not excited about. I had an opportunity to buy that one at a discount when it came out, and I passed on it just because I wasn't feeling it. I never really put my finger on it, but it really never felt like Psylocke to me. This one does for sure. The X-Force Psylocke is a big bonus for me. I'm a big X-Force fan. I really dig X-Force a lot. Probably my favorite comic book in the last 15 years, in my opinion. Well, it's my favorite, in my opinion. I don't know what you think my favorite is, but in my opinion, it's X-Force. Anyway, so I was really happy when they said that, where they announced that they were going to do a Psylocke. There's actually a fan-made Psylocke statue that, when I first seen it, I thought that it might have been official. And as I looked at it more and more, I kind of started to realize, oh wait, this pose doesn't make a lot of sense, and my hopes were dashed. But at any rate, it got my hopes up for a Psylocke something fierce. And Koto is really good about this kind of stuff. This is what makes Koto so good, is that they listen to their fans and they put out stuff that the fans want. It's really kind of strange, especially in the U.S., where we've got companies like Hasbro that seem like they just do exactly what the fans don't want in a lot of cases. So I'm really happy that a Kotobukiya exists and that we can get cool-ass statues from them. So here's the illustration from Shinya Yamashita, of course. Really dig the pose a lot. This one feels more like Psylocke. I'm a sucker for a couple of different things. One is kind of eyes that look up from underneath their face at you, and hair in the face. Sounds stupid, but those are two aesthetics I've realized that I like a lot, and they're both here. And this more or less shapes up to be like a perfect figure for me. Everything I like really is in here. Swords, Psylocke, and that's about everything. But I'm very happy with it. So I can't imagine being disappointed with this thing once it's open, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. So here's a look at the box in the back. Here's a description of Psylocke's description. Should be able to make that out. We've got Kitty Pryde there. It's now available, it says. I did a review for Kitty Pryde. If you're interested, you can check out my review. I'll put the link in here. And here's the rest of the box. Strange box. It's a little different than most of them, but it's necessary because this figure's different than all the rest. There hasn't been a pose quite like this that would necessitate a weird box like this, but here we have it. Alright, so let's crack her open, take a look. Just a quick look at the inside packaging. I did not know that her sword was removable. Something I just found out now. Pretty basic stuff. Looks like that's really the only assembly, if you want to call it that, required, is putting the sword in her hand. Everything else is in one piece. Alright, so here's Psylocke. Really good figure. I guess that's no surprise at this point, but I'm really happy with her. Looks like they've done a great job. Just came out really good. So let's get a couple different angles on her here. So she was sculpted by Bishoujo Max, and he has done a lot of different statues. And as far as the Kotobukiya Bishoujo stuff goes, he's done pretty much all of the Tekken girls except for Xiaoyu, for whatever reason. And he's done well here, I must say. Gil is probably my favorite sculptor for the Bishoujo line, but this dude has done a very good job on Psylocke here. So now mine has got almost pretty much no flaws on her. There's a couple of little things. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but see here. Let me see if I can't get a little better light on there. You can't quite see it. It's not really that big of a deal either. There's a little tiny black speck of paint on her leg there, and a little tiny speck on her hip right there. That's absolutely it. Everything else is good. The only other thing that's kind of weird is that her sheath for a sword looks like it was sitting under weight in the package, and it's kind of given there. So I'll have to. I should be taking a bath later. Hopefully that'll straighten out just fine. Looks like it will. The base itself looks pretty good. I like this a lot. It's pretty simple. There's nothing a lot to it. Here's the underside. It's reinforced. And looks good. It's better than X23's base. I just had a thought that it wouldn't be a terrible idea if they maybe released an alternate base to X23 somehow. I'll let that go. So the paintwork's done really well. Let's get a little closer view of her face here. So the eyes are done really well. Eyelashes, detail, and her eyes and all of that. Looks really good. Her lips, she's basically got kind of that metallic lipstick kind of stuff going on. These are kind of the more modern techniques Koto's been using in these Bishoujo statues. Her hair is nice and purple, just like it should be. It's a little richer purple in the video here than what I'm looking at. It looks a little bit more kind of like a grayish purple looking at it in person. It's not as deep purple as it looks like in the video. I'm not sure what to make of that, why there's a difference there, but there seems to be. Her sash here is, it looks transparent, but it's not as transparent as it looks. It has a kind of a white, kind of frosty paint on it. It looks like basically what they've been painting the feathers with on the Tekken girls. So there's kind of a little bit of a transparency to it, but it looks really good. Blowing around in the wind there. You can see the buckle on her belt, the X-Force X. One of the nice things about this sculpt is that they do a pretty good job to replicate kind of how the body works, meaning the bands on her leg kind of pinch the skin and they kind of bulge in between the bands. This leg flattens out underneath the weight of her, so you can see the thigh there, how it's flat against her heel, like that, and kind of bulges. That's the kind of attention to kind of detail in the body that I really appreciate them doing. That's the kind of stuff that I think is missing from a lot of other, PVC statues and these kind of Bishoujo type statues that other companies might have made or are still making that don't quite have that level of fidelity to them. She also has some pretty muscular shoulders that I didn't really realize she had. You can see there the shoulder muscles kind of, there's a dip in there in that shoulder. She's got a nice sculpted, the scapula. Also, this her left shoulder here has some pretty significant definition to it that I hadn't noticed before. So some people were complaining about her ankle. I guess it looks like it's broken. I don't think that's the case at all. That never occurred to me. She's a ninja, and she's flexible, and I've never had an issue with that. It doesn't look odd to me looking at it in person. I think maybe the way her foot arches in the front here, maybe a little odd or something. I don't know. Everything was fine to me. Nothing about that is a miss as far as I'm concerned. She's got some painted nails. See there? And this sword. See your hand holds the sword there. So the sword's done pretty well too. It's got a significant amount of detail to it. The paint, the metallic paint, looks pretty good. It's nice and shiny. So she can also hold her sword kind of reverse grip style. And I kind of like the way that looks. I had not seen any shots of her holding her sword. Like I said, I didn't know that it even came out of her hand. So that's not too bad either. Kind of like that. It has a different kind of symmetry to the figure when it's like that, and I dig it. I might display her like this. But great paint work. I mean, it's pretty basic stuff. There's not a whole lot. I mean, it's just flat black. It's kind of glossy a little bit. Nothing. It's not shiny, I wouldn't say, but it's kind of glossy, semi-glossy, I guess maybe. It's kind of matte, kind of glossy. Really, all the detailed paint work is in her face, and there we go. Get one more look at her face here. I really dig it a lot. So Bishoujo Max, I can't say that. He has kind of a different. He kind of. I'm not sure how to describe it, but he has definitely got a style that a lot of the figures that he sculpted, the faces look relatively similar. Like, even though this is based on Shunya's art, I can see the sculptor influence in it. But it's nice. Very well done. I'm going to have to straighten that scabbard out. It's bothering me thinking about that. It's kind of wrapped around there like that. But all the paint is accurate. It's just not very dynamic because she's just wearing all black. So there's not a lot to see there. But all the little details are there. Her lips and the lipstick and the fingernails and the little X on her belt and whatever else you might think of is all there and accounted for. Let's do a quick size comparison. There's X-23, appropriate, I think, since they're the two X-Force ladies we've got thus far. And X-Force X-23. X-23 is my favorite character, so I think she still is my favorite Bishoujo. But man, Psylocke, if she, I don't know, maybe tied for first. I don't know. Very, very good statue. I dig that one a lot. And then here she is with Zhao Yu, who was just recently released, and you may have this statue. She's out and available now. And in a little bit smaller scale, maybe, I don't know. That scale's a weird thing, at least for me. I can't seem to wrap my head around it too well because they vary so much. They all say they're one scale, but then maybe not so much. You can kind of tell that Psylocke is a bigger girl than Zhao Yu, pretty significantly bigger. But about the same size as X-23, not a lot bigger. Let's see. There we go. So anyway, there she is, and man, very happy with her. I really don't think they could have done a better job. I have no nitpicks with this figure whatsoever. Everything's pretty much perfect. I have no complaints. I don't really have any suggestions that I kind of wish were a little bit better here or there, really anything. The pose is super dynamic. The sculpt is fantastic. Everything's where it should be. The base is interesting. It's not just a patch of dirt. It looks good, and I'm very happy with this one. She may be, she could possibly be my new favorite. I don't know. It has more to do with the character than the sculpt itself. If I didn't know who Psylocke was or X-23 was, I'd say that she is definitely my favorite. Yeah, good stuff. Well, that's about all I have to say about Psylocke. Don't let her pass you by. If you're a fan of X-Men, X-Force, like I am, Psylocke, certainly. These statues are pretty good, and for the money, I don't think you can do a lot better. As a matter of fact, you can't do better for the money, as far as I know. They're great figures, and they're done really really well. And this is as good as they get in the Bishoujo line. It makes me excited for what the future holds, and all of the other statues that we have been announced and haven't got yet. Street Fighter stuff, Jiri and Cammy and Chun-Li and whoever else, Sakura, I'm sure, and Ibuki were going to be in the mix there. So I don't know what's next for me after this. I don't know what else I have that I can review. I have some other Bishoujos I haven't done yet that are a little old. I'll probably end up doing those. I'm not sure what I have on pre-order I'm expecting to come in. I haven't looked it up, but there will definitely be something. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching. And check out my Tumblr. If you're interested, you can follow me there and kind of see little updates that you wouldn't see otherwise on YouTube. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And I'll catch you next time. Thanks a lot for watching.